I'm going to level with you like a friend who's seen behind the curtain. I'm about to walk you through 6 exact places in her phone where a side partner can be hidden in plain sight. I know how these tricks work, not from rumors, but from real experience, helping girlfriends manage their private relationships, where names got polished, stories got tidy, and nothing looked suspicious unless you knew where to look. If you're a straight talk, hardworking guy who hates mind games, the kind who pays the bills, keeps promises, and just wants the truth, you're in the right place. Because what's eating you isn't drama, it's uncertainty. It's that heavy question that follows you from the shower to the steering wheel. Am I imagining this, or is something off? I get it. And I'll make a simple promise. Stay with me. Out of these 6 hiding spots, at least one is likely active right now. Miss it, and you won't just lose sleep. You could lose months of peace, spinning your wheels in a fog you didn't create. Here's how this will go. First, I'll pull back the first curtain and show you the clean contact that isn't clean at all, the kind that sounds like work, family, or health, but talks like something else at 11:47 p.m. Then we'll move through the apps, the emergency sections, the social DMs, and finally the decoy web where one number wears 3 different masks. As we go, I'll tell you what's real, what's bait, and what to do without turning into a full-time detective. As this isn't about policing a phone, it's about protecting your dignity. Listen closely to your gut right now. Feel that little rise in your chest? That's not paranoia. That's your sense of reality waking up. I'll keep the language simple, the steps clear, and the examples concrete so you can decide with a cool head, not a shaken heart. And if any moment sounds like it was written from your living room, that's because men everywhere, from farm towns to big cities, are writing me the same story with different names. I won't ask for a favor you don't get value from. Instead of smashing anything, drop your city in one word for how you feel. Confused, alert, done, whatever it is. That single word will tell me where to steer the next videos, and it will remind you you're not alone in this. Now take a breath, square your shoulders, and come with me. If the truth is hiding, we're going to find where it lives, and you're going to walk out of this with clarity. I'm speaking to the man who still believes in doing things the right way, the one who respects work, honors emergencies, and gives people the benefit of the doubt. I've been on the inside of these systems, and tonight I'm your legal shield decoder, the authority unmasker. My job is simple. Pull the curtain on how professional titles and medical labels get weaponized to hide a private relationship right under your nose. I want you alert, not paranoid, decisive, not dramatic. So take a breath, steady yourself, and listen closely. First, the work contact camouflage. It looks clean, adult, responsible. A name that used to be Ryan quietly becomes Ryan Regional Manager or Ryan Marketing Consultant. Sometimes the number is tucked behind a fake company that sounds real enough to pass at the dinner table. Tech Solutions, Inc. David Marketing Plus, LLC. You see Mike IT support on her screen at 10:47 p.m. and you swallow your questions because IT calls happen at weird hours, right? I watched a husband wave those late pings away for months until Tom Accounting started texting through the night. That's when he realized Tom wasn't balancing spreadsheets. He was balancing alibis. The genius of this trick is the halo of legitimacy. Work carries a built-in excuse. Deadlines, client emergencies, last-minute revisions. You respect work. You don't want to be the controlling partner who can't handle a career. And that respect gets used against you. Now the emergency contact trick. This one hits harder because it borrows the holiness of medicine and urgency. The number shows up as Dr. Will Smith, emergency, pediatrician office, even cardiology. You're a reasonable man, you trust the white coat. Who argues with health? But I've seen the masks slip in one case. A daily "Good morning" came from Dr. Davidson, cardiology. When the husband dialed back, a casual voice answered, "Hey, you've reached Marcus." The cardiologist was a fitness partner with a borrowed lab coat name. The more sophisticated version goes deeper. The side partner is saved as the primary ICE contact in the medical ID, right where your name should be. It looks noble, like careful planning for emergencies. In truth, it's a VIP lane that bypasses your common sense. Here's what makes both strategies feel above suspicion. Work signals duty, medicine signals care. Challenge either one and you look small, insecure, even cruel. That psychological trap is the entire play. It pushes you to ignore language that's too personal, timing that's too intimate, and patterns that don't belong to spreadsheets or stethoscopes. You're not crazy for noticing. You're sane for refusing to be trained by labels. If your gut is whispering, honor it without turning into a detective. Pay attention to consistency. A real IT contact doesn't flirt at midnight. A real doctor doesn't send sunrise emojis. A real emergency doesn't check in every day like a morning devotion. Ask for clarity with calm adult boundaries. Work and medical calls matter. For both our peace of mind, let's agree on simple transparency, who these numbers belong to, and when it's appropriate to talk with them. If the story holds, the facts will match. If the story bends, the mask will crack. You are not here to police a phone. You're here to protect your dignity. Respect the titles, but verify the behavior. And when in doubt, step back from the label and look at the pattern. Watch for personal language from work, for intimacy disguised as health, and for messages landing when offices sleep. Most of all, watch for personal messages outside business hours. I'm speaking to the man who treats family like sacred ground, the one who would rather bite his tongue than question a call labeled mom, dad, or your brother Mike. Tonight, I'm your ruthless decoder, the unmasker of the diabolical, and I'm here to expose a tactic that hides right in front of your eyes. It's called existing contact modification, and it thrives because you're a good man who respects family as psychologically untouchable. That's exactly why it works. Here's how the scheme breathes. She doesn't create a brand new contact with a shady name. She walks quietly into the house you trust most, her mom contact, your dad, your brother, and slides in a second number like an extra key under the doormat. On the screen, everything looks innocent. Same name, same photo, same history. But beneath it sits a different line that connects straight to the side partner. One tap on mom, then the other number, and a private world opens without raising a single eyebrow. No burner phone, no secret handle, just hidden in plain sight, holding your respect hostage. Why is this so effective? Because challenging family communications feels inappropriate. You've been trained to see that label and stand down. Family carries warmth, duty, obligation, the soft armor we wrap around our hearts. That armor becomes a weapon when it's turned against you. The manipulation isn't loud, it's polite. It smiles at you from the dinner table, promises to call mom back later, and kisses your forehead while the second line lights up after you fall asleep. This is not messy chaos, it's calculated design. And that's what makes it diabolical. I've watched it play out with surgical precision. There was a case we called the Jenny pattern, Sister Jenny. Phoned twice a week, long calls, gentle laughter through the wall. He felt silly for feeling uneasy. Who scrutinizes a sister? Weeks turned to months. One morning, hands shaking, he dialed back the number listed under Jenny. A pause, then a voice. "Hey, you've reached Marquez." The room went weightless. In a single breath, the truth stood up and introduced itself. Not a spreadsheet of evidence, not a confession at midnight, just a man answering from behind a sister's name. "I'm not here to make you paranoid. I'm here to return your sight. You don't need to raid a phone or turn into a detective. You do need to reclaim your right to appropriate clarity. Ask calm, adult questions that match your values. For our peace of mind, can we review the secondary numbers saved under family contacts? Watch for friction where transparency should be easy. Real family won't mind confirming a number. Real love doesn't need a decoy. If you feel your chest tighten, listen. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Waking up. Respect the label, but verify the behavior. Family should be a refuge, not a mask. Check family contacts with unfamiliar numbers or suspicious timing. I'm talking to the man who still checks the old places, the main phone book, the recent calls, the obvious logs, and keeps telling himself, looks clean. I'm your digital darkness decoder tonight, and I'm here to show you how a parallel relationship can live 2 inches from your thumb while never touching the contacts list you trust. The first layer is app-based invisibility. Messaging apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal keep their own contact lists. That means Danny from gym, personal trainer, or just PT can exist entirely inside those apps and never appear in her phone book at all. To your eyes, the phone looks quiet. Inside those apps, it's loud. The system genius doesn't stop there. Disappearing messages and secret chats delete the trail automatically. 24 hours later, the window is clean, the floor is swept, and you're left staring at a spotless hallway that's been busy all night. Most men miss this because they search like it's 2012. They look for names, not handles, for logs, not vanishing threads. You're not dumb. You've just been checking the wrong room. Now, the second layer, social media hiding. This is where the phone stops being a phone and becomes a world. Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat. None of these need a phone number to run a full-time story. He doesn't live as a contact. He lives as a handle. Photos pass, inside jokes grow legs, meetups are arranged in comments and quick replies. By design, the relationship sits outside the contact system you know how to read. I once saw a case where the phone looked saintly. No odd names, no late night work calls. But inside Instagram DMs, there he was. Daniel Fit 92, daily chat, gym selfies, you free at 6, pings that felt like the soft tap of a secret door. Nothing illegal, nothing obvious, just a steady drip of attention, engineered to leave no footprint where you'd think to look. Here's the emotional trap. You respect privacy and you don't want to become a detective. That's fair. But respect without awareness turns into blindness on demand. These systems are smart because they borrow what you value, trust, restraint, good manners, and use it to push you away from the one place you need to examine. So let me make this simple and calm. Built for a man who works with his hands and calls things what they are. You don't need to learn code. You don't need special tools. You need to notice patterns. Is there heavy activity inside apps you never use? Do notifications pop from WhatsApp or Telegram even though no one new exists in the main contacts? Do Instagram DMs light up with fitness or hobby accounts that talk like close friends? Real friends don't need the lights off to speak. Real coaches don't flirt at midnight. Real conversations don't evaporate by design. I'm not asking you to tear anything apart. I'm asking you to stand your ground in the present tense. If your chest tightens, listen to it. Ask for clarity without drama. For both our peace of mind, can we talk about who's messaging on WhatsApp and IG? If they're important, I'd like to know who they are. Healthy stories hold under daylight, fragile ones melt. And if you need a compass in one line, use this. Check for excessive messaging app or DM activity with contacts not in her main phone book. In this new world, that's where the footprints live. I'm talking to the man who already checked the obvious places. You scrolled the phone book, you spotted one weird contact, maybe two, and told yourself you'd handled it. But what you saw was only a slice. I'm your system architect of truth tonight, and I'm going to decode the most manipulative tactic in the playbook, the decoy contact system. A design so slick, most men never catch it until it's cost them their peace. Here's the cold architecture. One man, one number, many masks. She saves that same number as Danny. Personal trainer duplicates it as Dan. Massage therapist copies it again as Dave. Nutritionist maybe even adds David. Life coach. On paper, you're looking at 4 different professionals with 4 different roles. In reality, it's one private relationship wearing 4 uniforms. The power of this system isn't just the disguise, it's the flexibility. If you grow suspicious of Danny the trainer, the profile disappears in a tap, and all traffic switches without missing a beat to Dave the nutritionist. New costume, same actor, same pipeline. You breathe out, thinking you solved the problem, when really the problem changed its name. Why does this fool smart, hardworking men? Because the setup leverages your common sense. In adult life, it's normal to interact with specialist, trainer, therapist, nutritionist. Your mind says, sure, that tracks. Each mask has a reasonable story, a legitimate time slot, and a neutral tone. When you question one mask, the other masks keep the stage warm. You find yourself doing exactly what the system wants, interrogating each professional separately instead of noticing the shared heartbeat behind them all. I watched a husband walk that maze for months. He asked careful questions about the trainer, then about the therapist, then about the nutritionist, then about the life coach. 4 neat lanes, 4 neat explanations. What he didn't see was the single number pulsing under every lane, like one wire feeding 4 lamps. When he finally lined those threads up, time management, phrasing, little habits in the messages, the room shifted. Shock first, then the heavier thing, the feeling of being managed. You don't need spyware. You don't need to turn into a detective. You do need to step back from the labels and look for patterns. Do multiple professionals text with the same rhythm? Late evenings, quick replies at odd hours, the same jokes, the same shortcuts. Do their messages flare up on the same days, go silent on the same weekends, circle the same plans? If your gut says the voices sound alike, trust it enough to verify. Ask for simple clarity, not drama. For our peace of mind, can we confirm who these numbers belong to? Healthy stories hold, fragile ones scramble. Remember what the decoy contact system is designed to do. Split your attention by time and keep you chasing masks. Don't chase masks, trace the wire. And if you need one clean compass to cut through the fog, use this. Look for multiple professional contacts that share similar communication patterns or timing. When the schedules rhyme and the language matches, you're not seeing 4 experts, you're watching one performance. Here's the truth said without sugar. When you're staring at a pattern of disguised contacts, you're not looking at personal preferences. You're looking at a deliberate system built to keep you in the dark. That isn't intimacy. That's strategy. And I'm talking to the man who has already seen enough to know his gut wasn't lying. You've traced the late night pings. You've watched names morph into job titles. You've felt the story bend when daylight touches it. Now, the question is no longer who is she hiding? The question is, are you ready to stop pretending that elaborate contact camouflage is normal? Because the moment you call it what it is, the fog lifts and your power returns. Think of that contact list like a witness protection program. New names, new roles, parallel lives created to move the same person through your day without leaving fingerprints. That isn't privacy. That's choreography. And every extra mask you find is another step away from the one thing a relationship needs to breathe: transparency. You have given patience, benefit of the doubt, and room for growth. But your soul is not a storage unit for someone else's secrets. Your peace of mind is worth more than decoding contact lists. Your sanity is worth more than cross-checking timestamps and wondering why a doctor sends sunrise emojis or a trainer texts like a lover at midnight. Peace is not something you earn by solving a puzzle. Peace is something you choose by refusing to live inside one. So pause and stand upright inside your own life. You do not have to raise your voice. You do not have to make a scene. You only have to speak plainly. Clarity or distance? That's not punishment. That's self-respect. Healthy love does not need disguises. Healthy stories do not melt under questions asked in daylight. If transparency is not part of the relationship strategy, you already have your answer. Walk toward dignity even if your knees shake. Walk toward quiet even if your phone still buzzes. Choose the version of yourself that sleeps through the night. If this opened your eyes even a little, stay with me. I make daily videos to help you see patterns fast and act with calm strength. Subscribe so you don't miss the next step. Like this if it gave you language for what you've been feeling. Share it with a brother who needs to hear you're not crazy, you're waking up. And in the comments, tell me one thing you're choosing today that protects your peace